Welcome to Vibe Study. Here we vibe, then we study hard. This is a one-stop channel for tips to acing your exams, tutorials on IFRS accounting standard and ACCA for students and accounting professionals. In today's video, we're going to be discussing 5 key things you must stop doing as a student, especially if you are an ACCA student before your exams. We mean at the point when you're studying for your exam, please take note of these 5 critical things, and if you're doing them, you need to stop them. In this video, we're going to be discussing that, and number 3 and 4 are the most critical. You need to watch out for them, listen to them. So in this video, we're going to be discussing 5 key things you need to stop doing before your exams, and then 2 key things you should never do during your exams. All right, so let's dive right into it. Stop for a second. You need to pause. Stop for a second. I can't emphasize on this hard enough, ACCA students. Please stop doing this. This is not just a tutorial for ACCA students. It applies to most exams, including IELTS, ICAN, CFA, CPA, name it, most exams. But for ACCA exam, we all know how tough and how strict ACCA is. So please, if you're doing this during your study exam preparation, you need to stop right now, pause and stop doing this, okay? Because these are going to greatly, significantly affect your chances of passing, and in a negative way. Like, they're going to ruin your chances. Let's say you have 1 to 10 chances of passing, and if you're doing all of this, just know that your chances of passing are just 1/10, and that's 0.01. So please, you need to stop doing this. All right, so what's number 1? The number 1 thing you need to stop doing if you're doing this, because we know from our conversations, our correspondences with most students, especially ACCA students, this is one thing most people do when they're preparing for an exam. All right, be it the BSc exam, the ICAN, the ACCA, the CFA, the CPA. This is one thing so many persons, including I, was guilty of at some point. All right, that is targeting the pass mark. So let's assume you are writing an exam and the pass mark is 80%, and then you're looking like, oh, let me just target on getting those 80%. Or let's just go straight on to ACCA. For ACCA, we all know that the pass mark is 50%. So if you're preparing for an ACCA exam, see the way I'm looking at you right here, you that is looking at me, you that is listening to this video, if you are preparing for an ACCA exam, please do not target the pass mark, which is 50%. Why? Okay, let's even analyze the psychological part of it. This has a way of making you stay in your comfort zone. Psychologically, it affects your mind, your mentality, the way you prepare, the way you study, without even knowing it, without even realizing it. Yes, it tells your brain, your head, that, oh, I don't even need to stress myself. All I need to do right here is to just get the target mark, which is 50%. That's what you tell yourself. Be okay, well, let me just get this 50. This is what I need to get, and I'll just be done. The downside is that if you see this person that's trying to climb this hill, you see this guy right here, he's targeting 50, but just assume that there's a slight miss somewhere right here, you're going to fail. I think let me just get this, but if there's any small mistake maybe during the exam, because what this does is that when you're preparing for exam, let's assume that you're supposed to cover 20 topics in your syllabus. Let's just say advanced audit and assurance. All right, so during the preparation, if peradventure you see topics that are hard or you're not that friendly with, you may just say, oh, I don't really need to cover them. After I'm just aiming for 50 marks, I'm just aiming for 50% of the marks. This is what it does. And then peradventure, for the ones you think you know and you can do so well at them, and there's a slight mistake, you're going to end up falling so hard. You see this deep valley, you're going to end up falling deep down there. So please do not, if you're doing this currently, please stop doing it. Don't aim at 50. Don't focus on getting 50. You need to aim higher. Yes, what you should do, let's assume the pass mark is 50, you should be aiming at getting 80. And why not? We're here to help you achieve just that, so that the result is, no matter what happens, you won't go lower than 60, which is still way higher than the pass mark of 50. And don't worry, that is why we are here. In this channel, we're going to dissect practice questions, solve a lot of questions, and even guide you on so many IFRS standards and ACCA standards in a fun way. We vibe here. We're not boring. All right, so stay tuned to this channel, and if you have not subscribed, please hit the like button and subscribe. So the next thing you should stop doing, I'm saying stop doing because I know most of you are already doing these things without even realizing how it affects your chances of succeeding, is skimming, using the skimming method when you're reading. So let's assume you're doing group you're studying investment in associates, and this is a familiar topic. Maybe you have even done it in your foundational level, or maybe you have done it in your BSc level, maybe you have read it somewhere, and oh, I know this. You just, as you're going through it, you just be like, okay, well, let me just skim through this and get to the most important points. And then maybe there's a practice question along the line. You just use a padlock. See this padlock right here? Padlock the question and say, I'll solve this later. Not today, I'll get to this later. Or maybe you're working class and you're not feeling too good, and you're just barely managing to study, all right? And then you get to the practice question parts. You're like, I understand this. It's not just goodwill calculation. I'll get to this later. Please, no. You need to stop doing that. Just sit up and start solving that question at that point, because you never get to it later. The right time will never come. And before you know what is happening, exams are around the corner. At that point, you're supposed to be doing revision, not going back to not going back to actually understand what's going on behind the scenes. So please, you need to stop doing this. All right. Then the other set of people is the people that feel like, oh, I know it. It's not this question. I've solved it. And I know this question. I'm familiar with it. Let me just move on. I know this one. I know this one. I know this one. Please, and please, you need to stop doing this. All right. Actually, solve those questions. Don't skim through them, solve them. All right, just like you know, solving those questions are just like somebody that has a wrestle competition. You see this guy right here, so funny, right? He has a wrestle and get what he's doing, he's reading a book. You're just lying down, maybe as I even studying, you have your phone beside and you're scrolling through TikTok and Twitter or any other social media platform. You're thinking, oh, I'm good, I understand, let me just keep moving. No, you don't prepare for battle of a wrestling by reading or even by just casually skipping through the questions or skimming through the textbooks. No, you actually need to walk the walk. All right, don't just lie down on the couch and just scroll through most questions or scroll through the explanations on your test. If you're using, most times you're actually supposed to use a laptop to study for your ACCA exam, and then for other exams maybe you're reading through the textbooks and you're like, oh, I know this, let me just move on. Please, that is a trap. It's a trap. You need to avoid this trap when you're preparing for your exams. Okay, in all your exams, actually get to, okay, for ACCA, let's just use ACCA as an example. All right, so our mantra for passing your exam is actually do the do. That is one assured way, one guaranteed way for you to pass. Get to the task of solving those questions in real time. Get your hands dirty, like do the work. Have you ever seen a wrestler prepare for competition by writing theories or watching wrestling competitions while lying down on the couch? I like that scenario. Just imagine you are lying down on your couch as a wrestler and then you're preparing for a wrestling competition. No, I can't even laugh at the thought of that. It will be a complete knockout barrel. So for all exams, especially ACCA, solve the practice questions, solve the past questions, solve the mock exam questions. And why not? You already have all these resources. Once you register as a student, ACCA gives you access to all this, including the study hub. So you have access to all this, and sure you don't know how to access these resources, please just hit the like button and subscribe, because in our subsequent videos we're going to be doing videos on how to access that, and the resources you should just make, like, you should be 5 and 6 with them, make them your real party, your friends, because you can't afford to not use these resources. All right, so another key thing with studying on the platform is that you actually get used to that exam platform. You have to use a computer or a laptop, so you navigate to the CBE practice platform, and then you solve those questions, so you get used to doing the exam as if it's in real time. Okay, and like I keep saying, ACCA has more than enough resources to support you on this. You don't even need to go extra mile. You don't even need to knock yourself head around, unless maybe you don't know they exist or you don't know how to access them. Just let us know in the comment section. We're going to do another video on this. All right, we'll guide you that in our next video. So the next thing, okay, now we need you to sit up. Are you going to sit up and start solving this question, or do you need us to come to get a stick and deal with you? Please subscribe to this channel, because we're going to give you practical tips to scale through your exams. Okay, so the next question is, it's not even just about solving the questions. It's not just about solving practice questions. You need to time yourself, solve those questions to time, like put a time. If you are doing a past question, let's say 2023 past question on SBR, that's strategic business reporting. All right, and then for the real exam, you're supposed to have like 3 hours 15 minutes. Please time yourself during your preparation before the exam. Always time yourself. Get a wristwatch, use your phone, use an alarm. Just make sure you time yourself. So once it's 3 hours 15 minutes, please submit that question. Yeah, submit it, because you need to get used to that pressure, that time management. You need to actually practice it at this point in time. All right, so one thing this helps you to do is it helps you to sharpen your time management skills. It's one thing to have the technical knowledge, but trust me, without good time management skill, you are not going to make it through this ACCA exam. I'm not going to paint it or sugarcoat it. ACCA is technical. It's toxic. I don't even know the right word to use. Is an exam that you don't even just have to know it. You have to be strategic. You have to be strategic. You have to think strategically, and you have to employ strategies if you're going to scale through this exam. All right, so you need to be solving those questions to time, because ACCA is big on time management. You enter the exam hall, you even know everything, but if you're not careful, the time is going to keep running. Before you know, you'll be like, time up, like, where did this happen? The time keeps running. So please, you just cannot afford to not know how to manage your time, because the real exam is a race against time. Just like you're racing, you see the exam is there, the work clock is, everything is ticking. So please, you need to know, because I'm not just testing your technical skills, I'm also testing your time management skills. Don't worry, I'm going to do a full detailed video on how to manage your time in the exam. Trust me, you can't afford to miss that video. You really need it. So please subscribe and also turn on your notification bell so you get notified immediately the video drops. All right, so the 4 things I told you number 3 and 4 are critical. In fact, this number 4 is the most critical part. Let's just say, if they're going to be like take first and second position, we're going to put this number 4 first. This is the most critical part of this. Please stop doing this. Stop. Oh my god, I can't emphasize this enough. Stop doing this. Okay, so what's this number 4? Is avoiding your weak points. Avoiding your weak points. So you have topics in, let's just say CBR, for instance, that topics you're not really familiar with or you're not friends with. Let's just say leases, let's say employee benefits, or let's say financial instruments. You know within yourselves that these are topics that always seems to deal with you. Like once you see them, you're like, oh my god, this is so complicated, and you're like, I'll get to it later. You will be avoiding those topics. You'll be like, I'm going to get to this maybe next weekend, or maybe you're reading through them but you're not actually understanding it or dealing with them. You're just skimming through them and telling yourself that I'll find a way, or I don't really have to solve this in the exam. Please, you need to deal with these hard topics that you consider are hard to you. Like I said, it could differ. What one student may consider difficult, maybe an easy stuff for you. All right, so you need to see, okay, let's just analyze some of the funny strategies that students use when it comes to these weak areas they don't really know. Number one, some of them they use the avoidance tactics. So they avoid those difficult topics both during their study, during their practice. They're like, oh, I'll get to this later, or you just read through it like defect physics and like, I can't really make sense of this, like, don't worry, I'll get through it later, or maybe I don't really need to write them, or just pray about it. I'm like, please do not come out in the exam. Or another thing they would do is brush over them. Like I said, just read through over them, just in 1 or 2 seconds, and just whether you get the point or not, just read through them and get over. Another key mistake students make when it comes to this is not prioritizing their weak areas. So if you're supposed to cover like 20 topics and you know that 5 of them are the most difficult for you, and like, I mean difficult, like you even as you're reading, it's like the whole confusion is getting multiplied. Please, you have to prioritize these topics, prioritize these areas, like make them the first set of things you have to achieve. And if you're solving 1 or 2 questions on some other easier topics for you, solve like 10, 20, 30. Deal with those topics before it deals with you on the exam day. That's the mantra. You have to deal with those topics before they deal with you on the exam day. Okay, another key thing students don't do is not getting the help they need. Maybe you're not an island, you have resources, you can join a study group, and then you can also join this YouTube channel. Like, keep mentioning subscribe, because we're going to be dealing with some of these topics much later in this channel. So subscribe and hit that subscribe button. Yes, you need to join this channel. So if you have or you know of a study group, you can join. Or if you can also, this one, I think most of them know this, you can also join ACCA approved study learning partner, or if you have a tutor or somebody that can also help you as well. But ACCA approved study learning partner is advised because they make sure they follow their approved syllables and everything. All right, so get the help you need. Get the help you need. If you need people to explain some things to you, advise you on how to tackle some areas, get that help that you need. In the most important thing is dealing with them. Like, even if you need like 1,000 people, 1,000 resources, like joining this channel, subscribing to one of ACCA approved learning partner, joining a study group, getting a tutor that can help you, just make sure you deal with these topics. I can't emphasize on this enough, because if you don't, they're going to deal with you on the exam day. All right. So another key mistake students do when it comes to this weak point is not solving enough practice questions on them. I can't emphasize this enough, because ACCA with the time, like the way time runs in the exam hall, you're not just going to know it a little bit. You're going to need to know it in depth, like know it like the back of your hand, like know it like you own it. So you need to solve as many past questions, practice questions, mock exam questions, anything you can get your hand on those, especially on those weak areas of yours. Solve enough questions on them so that it gets into you, like you can recall them, and no matter the way the questions are twisted. Because one thing with ACCA is that they set unique questions each year. Even if you're saying group accounting question every single year, it will never be the same. They'll always find a way to twist it. If they bring in statement of financial position this year, next year you can trust them to bring in statement of let's say you can trust them to bring in statement of comprehensive income, or they can decide to bring in the cash flow statement. So that is why you need to study, because the more you keep practicing, I'm not even, if you notice, I'm not even referring to just reading the theoretical aspect, just reading. I'm referring to actually solving those questions, solve questions on those topics, because you don't even need to know, just solve it, get the sample answers, read through it, understand what you did wrong and how best to improve, mark yourself, because the more you keep solving those questions, the more your brain keeps adjusting to those scenarios, and the more you're able to figure out what is common among them, or how the questions can be twisted, so that in the real exam, when you're faced with the real exams, you're not caught unawares. You're already used to scenarios. They're like, oh, these are things that we see. Maybe today we're going to see this kind of thing now. So you just warm up to the occasion, you tackle it, and you get it done. So please, you can just read a little bit of the theories. You can skip that theoretical student pathway. That doesn't work for most exams, especially for AAA and SBL, especially for advanced audit and assurance and SBL. You don't even get marks for just quoting technical answers. You have to apply it, application, and you need to be good at this for you to even know what to do. That is why you must practice questions on them. And don't worry, we are here to help you with that in our subsequent videos. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing videos on some of those practice questions. We're going to be answering some questions. We're going to guide you through on how best you can do this. All right, so please, let me say this again: flog those topics before they flog you in the real exams. Deal with your weak areas, deal with them, and don't forget to subscribe and join us as we solve scenario questions. These questions are not going to be real ACCA exam questions. Okay, this is a disclaimer. We're just here to guide you, because we are not ACCA approved learning partner. We're just here to create questions and just guide you through them, so that by the time we also guide you through on how to access the real past questions on ACCA platform. That by the time you get those questions, you'll know what to do and you'll be able to scale through. And don't worry, we're also going to provide the foundational knowledge in our training videos. Just stay tuned to this channel. We'll get all that sorted out. All right, so now this number 5th. This fifth point, all right, leaving God out of the equation. Now for the atheists, this may seem like, flimsy, this may seem irrational. You can't skip this, all right? But for those who believe in a God, please, you can also try praying before you study. Involve God. Why do it all alone the hard way when grace is available to help you get through effortlessly? Involve God and watch him help you, give you the divine wisdom and knowledge to get this done within the shortest possible time. Yes, God works and he can also help you do this, all right? So in our next video, we've run out of time, so we'll not be able to discuss the other two critical points that will make it 7. So in our next video, we're going to be discussing the 2 critical things you should never do during your exams. This is critical. These 2 things are like that way critical. They may ruin, if not even they will ruin your chances of passing any exam, especially ACCA exam. So please like this video and subscribe so you get notified when we post in the next video. Thank you for listening to this video. Let's vibe and let's study. So you can navigate to our playlist, short clips, and tips and tricks to get better other advice on how to get through your exams. And remember, in this channel, we don't just study, we vibe as well. We are here to make learning fun and easy for you. See you in the next video.